All right, hello everyone. Welcome to an episode of Matt Sports Talk, and in this video, I will be highlighting the historical season that the Indiana Wesleyan University women's softball team had. They finished 43-15, 30-6 in the Crossroads League, and they made the Final Four in the NAIA World Series for the first time ever in program history. And I have a very special guest joining me today. She is now an alum of Indiana Wesleyan, and she graduated about a month and a half ago. She played in the outfield and is the all-time program record holder in career stolen bases with 158. And that special guest is Morgan Yeater. And Morgan, thanks so much for being able to join me on my show today.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, you're welcome. So my first question for you is, what got you interested in playing softball? Why did you pursue it to play it in college? And what led you to play at Indiana Wesleyan?
Yeah. So I grew up playing softball at a young age, and my mom is the one who kind of got me into softball. She coached me from a very young age, taught me how to play softball, taught me about the love of the game. And yeah, so from about, I think I was 4 or 5 years old up until my freshman year of high school, she coached me in softball. And so we just shared that love of the game with each other. And kind of like as I started getting older and my skill level started getting better, I started playing some competitive travel ball, which helped with my love of the game. And so once I kind of put two and two together, and I was like, wow, this is a lot of fun. I want to continue to keep doing this. And every little girl has a dream of playing on the big stage. And so I knew that I wanted to pursue that and whatever that looked like. And with kind of like my entirety of softball and all of that, I was pursuing schools and getting recruited, and then COVID hit, which then interfered with my recruiting process. But it was a blessing in disguise because it kind of redirected me to knowing that I didn't want to go play D1 softball. I wanted to play softball where I could kind of have a life on the outside of it too and have fun at softball and not feel like softball was my job. And my mom is the one who told me that I should go to an IWU softball camp, and so I did, and I loved every minute of it. I got to meet Coach Babs, and he was great, and we had a great connection. And so just from there forth, he pursued me, and I fell in love with the campus and the team and the heartbeat of IU softball. And so that's when I made my decision. I think it was spring of my junior year of high school to play for IU softball. And yeah, so just the atmosphere of the team really is what led me to coming to IU. And I grew up in a Christian community, and so I knew that was something that I wanted to continue to pursue, and being able to play alongside other girls who also had the same morals and ideas and just viewpoints of life in mind was something that was really important to me.
Yeah, for sure. And I know that, sometimes, when COVID hit, that kind of, everything was kind of shut down for a while, and I'm sure it made things a little complicated, but you definitely ended up at the right place, and I know that's where the Lord led you to. And you were a great player at Indiana Wesleyan, that is for sure. And my next question is in the regular season, you guys finished 30-6 in the Crossroads League, very competitive league, top to bottom. There were a lot of upsets over the course of the season, not just with Indiana Wesleyan, but other teams lower down. And then, of course, the league tournament, early exit for, I don't know when the last time was that happened. You guys fell in extra innings 3-2 to an extremely good Spring Arbor team. Emily Underwood, great pitcher, had the league best ERA this past season. And then, of course, Huntington in the second game, another really tough team, especially with offensive power. Pitching staff was really good for them as well. And then we get to the national tournament, which you guys already knew you'd be in via an at-large bid, or an auto bid, with sweeping Huntington at home on senior day, while at the same time Marion sweeping St. Francis in Indianapolis, which I know that must have been a very, very exciting day for you and the team. Yeah, knowing that you guys had secured that automatic bid. And then we get to the regional site at Lindsey Wilson. You guys match up against number 8 in the country, Missouri Baptist, in the opening round, upset them 6-4. And then Lindsey Wilson, the 1 seed, and number 12 in the country in the second round, You guys upset them 11-3, which was absolutely amazing. Their star pitcher had over 235 strikeouts compared to only 34 walks heading into that game, which I knew that would be a really tough matchup for Indiana Wesleyan going up against Lindsey Wilson. You guys upset them, head to the final site. But before we talk about the final site, just briefly talk about the opening round games at Lindsey Wilson, the 2 upset wins. It just seemed like after the early exit Crossroads League tournament, it seems like y'all just flipped the switch into overdrive ×2 heading into that regional site. So just what led to the team's success in the opening round games at Lindsey Wilson?
Yeah, so after our quick exit of conference tournament, we had, I want to say it was maybe like a week, I don't think it's a week and a half, but a week break kind of in between, and some of us went home, some of us stayed at school. But during that time, Coach really was like, I really want you to just take a break and recenter your mind on why you're here and why you're doing what you love, and make sure that your priorities are straight with just the Lord and your relationship with Him, and truly like the posture of your heart. And if the posture of your heart isn't in it, then we're gonna be done quicker than we thought. And so I think we all really took that to heart and took those 2 days and really just reflected on the performance and the outcome of conference tournament. And we all had the same collective understanding of that was not how we wanted to end, and we wanted to keep going. And just going to opening rounds, like it was just a whole new team in the sense of like confidence in our trust in each other and the joy that we exuded when we played. And we truly played so free that it was so much fun, and just really diving into that aspect of making sure that we are pursuing excellence in the game and having fun, but also remembering like this is a game and we chose to play softball because we love softball, and really digging into that as well. So.
Yeah, for sure. And then, of course, that leads me into my next question with the national tournament. You guys head down to Columbus, Georgia, and you advance to the Final Four, finish 4th in the nation for the very first time in program history, which is just absolutely remarkable. And I know the weather did not cooperate for the most part. There was a lot of, switching the schedules around for all the teams there that made it to the final site and whatnot. But, for you all, it was an amazing experience. And, you had a big upset win against number 6 Southern Oregon, which was amazing, the defending national champions, and a tough loss to number 1 Madonna that ended up winning the national championship. And you guys were right there with them pretty much that whole game. It was just one big inning that kind of made the difference in that one. But just for you as a senior, just what was that experience like heading down to the final site for the last time in your playing career? Just what was that experience like for you? Going down there, playing really, really good softball, and especially coming out with that big upset win against number 6 Southern Oregon.
Yeah, it was really just a joy and a gift to be down there. I couldn't help but just be grateful for the entire experience, because it was. I know if all the other seniors can say this, that this was all of our first times going, and so it was just an overwhelming amount of gratitude and gratefulness that we were able to go and experience it. And so like our mindset down there was to just have fun and ball out, because this is where we knew we were going to finish our career out. And so making sure that we really focused in on just enjoying our time there and having fun. And we had nothing to lose. And so I think that's just how we took every game was we had nothing to lose. We were balling out. We were having fun for each other and really making sure that this was just a joy that we had. And so when we were going into the Southern Oregon game, my roommate and I, specifically Courtney Thomas, roommates all 4 years, we both, before the tournament had even started, we were like, we want to play Southern Oregon because we want to show them who we are. And we want to see, like, okay, like, are they a national team, a national championship team that we can beat? And we went out there, and when we saw that we were playing them, we were so on fire, because it was just an exciting moment to be like, yeah, this is IWU softball, and we can keep up with everybody, and we are a great team. And so it was just a lot of fun. I think that was probably one of the most, other than opening rounds, that was one of the most fun games I've ever played. And yeah, like there was just so much joy that we had for each other, and everyone had each other's backs, and the energy and the vibrance, and it was just such an electric game.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Like, you look at Southern Oregon. They're a phenomenal team, great pitching,
Yeah.
great offense. That's for sure. And you guys upset them. And man, Avery Toole she had a phenomenal freshman season in the circle. And it's just seemed like over the course of the season, she just got better and better and better. Especially once the late March, early April, like that's when she just really began to turn it on, and she definitely was a big part in y'all's success, especially in that especially in that deep postseason run. So my next question is, now that you're officially an IWU softball alum, which is kind of hard to believe, do you have do you have any favorite memories in your time at IWU? Do you have any favorite Bible verses that helped carry you through some really difficult times over the course of your 4 years? Obviously, with the Lord, leading you and helping you most of all. But just, do you have any favorite memories or favorite Bible verses to share?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure. So, some of my favorite memories are just our dance parties that we have. Game delays, rain delays, just anything before games. Like, we're always dancing, we're always having fun. Another one would be our worship nights that we had. We had an impromptu worship night on our bus ride home from Bethel my sophomore year, and it was so good, and it was just a great time, and we all just connected so well. It was so good, and I think it came at the perfect time as well. It was a heavy part of a semester for classes, and we were getting ready to start finals, and you could just kind of feel the heaviness, and we were playing music on the bus, and I can't remember who was in charge of the speaker, but she switched it to worship music, and we were all like, yeah, like this is what we need right now. And so then it just kind of turned into an impromptu worship night, and it was just so great, and really just rejuvenating and helped just remind us and redirect our hearts. Also, another one is always spring break trips. Going to Florida and going to Arizona was so much fun, being able to just travel with the team, and going out to Arizona was really cool when we got to experience Briley and Aaliyah Builders, just their home state, and them get to just be able to brag on how beautiful the state of Arizona is. Sorry. And I'd say a Bible verse that just really kind of carried me, especially through the last 2 years, was Psalm 23. Let me pull it up. And it, sorry, I just don't want to get the words wrong. I know it, but I never want to get it wrong. Sorry. Where it says, "The Lord is my shepherd, I have all that I need. He leads me to rest in green pastures and guides me beside still waters. He renews my strength. He guides me along the right path, bringing honor to his name. Even when I walk through the darkest valley, I will not be afraid. For you are close beside me. Your rod and your staff protect and comfort me. You prepare a feast for me in the presence of my enemies. You honor me by anointing my head with oil. My cup overflows with blessings. Surely your goodness and unfailing love will pursue me all the days of my life, and I will live in the house of the Lord forever." And I just really tried to meditate on that verse, especially the last 2 years. There was just a lot that had been going on in my personal life, and continuing to hold that close to my heart and know that he's got me, and the Lord goes before me in everything that I do. I don't need to worry about the future or what's in front of me, because he's already been there and he's already gone through it. And especially like us as a team, we really meditated on that verse this past year as well, which just helped a lot of us to release a lot of stress and anxieties that we were holding down or in that we didn't want to bring out to the surface, and just help us release that, which then in return helped us to grow our relationships with one another, and it reflected on the field as well. So
I love that. Like I love that Bible verse too. Like that's definitely a Bible verse that's been in my mind most recently, with what I'm trusting and believing God for. And I know that as tough as what it can be, he's got my back, he's got it all under control. And I love that verse. So and thank you for sharing that. That was definitely encouraging to me. And so my last question is, as you reflect back on your 4 years at Indiana Wesleyan, just what was it like playing there, and especially with the Christian faith being at the core of everything, not just with athletics, but also with the campus community, spiritual development. Just what was your experience like for your 4 years at IWU, knowing that no matter where you went on campus, no matter whether you were in the classroom and whatnot, just knowing that really strong Christian atmosphere was present. Just what was that like for you in your 4 years at Indiana Wesleyan?
It was so wonderful. I wouldn't change it for the world, and I wouldn't change the time of my life that I was there for the world. The people and the community and just everything with IWU was just so wonderful, and which made it so hard to leave because of how much of a special place that it is. I grew up in a Christian school through elementary, middle school, and high school, and so coming into IWU, I had already been in that community most of my life, and so being able to continue in that community and build my faith and take my faith as my own and learn from my peers that are the same age as me who come from different walks of life was really special, and it just taught me so much about myself and just perspective and seeing how the Lord has worked in their lives and how he's worked in my life. And especially our professors too, they were just wonderful. And I currently am at IU Indianapolis for my graduate school for occupational therapy, and it's so different when you walk in there versus when I would walk into IWU. And it was just all we talked about was Jesus and God and how wonderful he is and his goodness. And then when I go to grad school classes, it's so different, and it's not necessarily bad, it's just different, and that's something I'm not used to, but it's opened the door for me to be able to share about my faith. So I'm really grateful for IWU and my previous schools for being able to prepare me for moments like this, and just being able to send us out into the real world where people don't know Jesus, and we have that opportunity to share that with others.
Yeah, for sure. And I love that. Because obviously with the way the world is today, it can just be so difficult to just be open and be real and to be able to share the love of Jesus Christ to a world that desperately needs to hear it. And obviously for me, I actually attended MVNU during my college experience, and for me, it was just awesome being able to be in that Christian atmosphere. And I attended MVNU for 5 years, and then it started attending some basketball games at Indiana Wesleyan back in, actually the first one was the NAI National Tournament in 2022, and which was an amazing win. Almost a buzzer beater. Maddie Lawrence hitting the game-winning layup with 5 seconds left, and I was so excited about that. But for me, even though I did not attend college at Indiana Wesleyan, I definitely would like to share this with you, and for those that are watching this video. But Indiana Wesleyan has just been such a great place for me, and it's so special, means a lot. And I met my very best friends there at Indiana Wesleyan, especially on the women's basketball team. Every single player. Obviously, I don't know the incoming freshmen this year. No Coach Whaley and the whole entire coaching staff, and they have just been such a great group of people. They've encouraged me, they prayed for me, and they've said, Matt, I know God has great things for you. Just keep trusting him no matter how tough things get. And I love that. I love being able to just, go on campus, the times that we go over to visit, and the minute I step on campus, it feels so special, and definitely feels like home to me no matter what building I go in on campus, because I know that, God's led me there, in this season of my life that I'm preparing for. He's definitely using that to, prepare me more and mature me more for what he has in store for me. And I just love that. I couldn't be more grateful, and I would not have traded it for the world, being able to go to IWU and watch some great basketball games, despite some tough losses at times. But, that's a learning experience, and God has definitely helped me grow, more spiritually through that experience. And again, I just couldn't be more grateful for that. Well, Morgan, thanks so much for the time today. This was a great conversation, and I really, really enjoyed it, and I'm excited, to be able to, share this with the rest of my subscribers on my YouTube channel. And again, thank you so much for taking the time to do this video today, or this interview, I should say. Again, great conversation, definitely informative. and just being able to, to hear from your perspective out on the field, over the course of your 4 years, like, you have an amazing story. And again, congratulations on being the all-time program record holder for career stolen bases. And I thought Jenna Yost was good when she played at IWU, and then you that was back when, you were, I think, a sophomore in 2023, freshman, when she originally set the record, and then just a few years later, somebody else sets the record. So crazy how time flies, that's for sure. But thanks so much for doing this interview today, Morgan. That really meant a lot. And again, I wish you all the best at IU Indianapolis, and I know you're going to be, I think you mentioned you're studying OT, I believe it is, OT. So occupational therapy. You're going to make a great occupational therapist. I definitely can tell. Oh, you're more than welcome, and just keep sharing that love of Jesus to everybody there. And I know that, they'll be excited to hear your story, and again, just keep sharing the love of Jesus. And thank you again for taking the time to do this today.
Thank you.
All right, you're welcome. And for those of you that are watching this video, if you did find this video helpful and/or informative, please either like, comment, or subscribe. Any one of those options helps me out greatly. Thanks so much for tuning into this video. Have a great rest of your day, and God bless.